And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Glad
everybody.
this is Jean Oristano. And Jean comes from a company called evolvingspirt.com, which I've known about for quite a while. I've talked with her through all of her deciding to get into this. So, what? Just tell them in a real quick capsule what your Evolving Spirit does.
My Evolving Spirit has a few things. The first thing is I'm an energy healer, and I do two forms of energy healing. I do something called touching spirit, which is a very high energy frequency, angelic and above frequency healing. And I also do something, a form of Reiki by Usui, the original form of Reiki. I
Mm-hmm.
also am learning mediumship now, and I'm loving that because it's very healing for people, and it's going really well. And it's going to be evidential mediumship, not just plain old mediumship, which it means that I'll be bringing 5 or so different pieces of information that will identify the person who's coming through to the sitter, and it will
Mm-hmm.
also bring 5 pieces of information that the sitter would be unique to them that they would know, and then
Okay.
a message. So that's what evidential mediumship is. Now, under that umbrella of Evolving Spirit is my aromatherapy business, which is Evolve Aromatherapy. And I have created skincare with cruelty-free testing, with the highest quality ingredients that I can find, mostly organic, but not everything is available organically. And some of the products that are necessary for different skin types, I need to find in whatever way I can. But for
Mm-hmm.
the most part, everything is natural, organic,
Mm-hmm.
wholesome, and preservative-free, and health-oriented. My other thing that I'm doing is I channel angels.
Mm-hmm.
And from my angel and guide team, I got an idea to create inhalers with essential oils to
Mm-hmm.
help people through these difficult times that we're going through. So those look like this. I think that might most interest your
Mm-hmm.
people is, whoops, that way. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
These are
It's why we're
inhalers,
on. Sorry.
and you open
That's
them
good.
up like that, and they look like this. And you inhale on one side. This one's guardians and guides. And on that side. And what happened with me the first time I sat with this, and right now I can feel it going into my 6th chakra and into my brain,
Mm-hmm.
is that it opens up the blockages in your higher chakras from your heart up.
Mm-hmm.
And this enables you to connect more directly with your guides. This is a sample, and that's why you see, whoop, I
Mm-hmm.
have to figure out how to do this. The sample has this on it. I just got really pretty labels for purchasable. And they chose 5 different topics for me to create from. One of them is connecting with them.
Mm-hmm.
The other is receiving comfort from them, which I called angel hugs.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that we're going to need is grounding,
Mm-hmm.
which is this one. And I just sold one to an Akashic Records teacher of mine, Susan Brochin, that you know, and
Yeah.
she's working with it, and she's loving how grounded she's feeling, because she's
Mm-hmm.
been very
Good.
ungrounded lately, and probably because of what we were discussing earlier
Right.
with the energy shifting. The last 2, this one is forgiveness for ourselves and for others.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is for our well-being, for our physical. This is more corporeal. This is for our physical well-being
Mm-hmm.
at this time. And those are the 5 that they had me start out with. And I'm going to wait until I get any other downloads. And once people are interested in this, and then I can afford to do that and create more that's available to the public to
Right.
use.
Good. Yeah, because Jean and I have been talking about this for a long time. I've known her since about 2021. Is I think when we on YouTubed each
She's
other.
my mentor. She's my all things esoteric mentor.
And what are some of the other things you've gone through to get to this point? Because I think you and I were just discussing how we're all becoming, and a lot of people are having to let go of a lot of stuff so they can move to the next point. And you're kind of growing into that next point right now. How can you
Very
help
much
people?
so. For me, at this point, I got whacked awake, if you will, by a couple of bad car accidents where I wasn't injured, but I was hurt, scared. And what they wanted me to do was tap into when I was where I was holding on to trauma from my own childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went in and did some releasing and healing of trauma, the feeling of trauma, the fear associated with it, and have come out stronger, clearer, and more self-aware and awake as a
Mm-hmm.
result. I am also dealing, what was it recently? We're doing something else. They're purifying my body. Because of all the stress that I've been through quite a few stressful years. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, my body's genetics kicked in for aging.
Mm-hmm.
And I now have to be careful about what I'm eating. I'm on a very low carb diet to protect
Mm-hmm.
myself from getting diabetes and heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making me as clear and healthy a channel as I can be so that I can be of service to everyone else.
Cool. Yeah. See, and it's not just one day you were sitting on your back porch and said, do this. It's a
Oh, no.
whole series of stuff. Among
Yeah.
other things that you do is you competitively ballroom dance.
Oh, yes. I love ballroom dancing. Right now, because I'm making all these lovely products, I didn't show them to everybody, but this
Mm-hmm.
is, whoops. There we go. I'll figure it out. There we go. That's this one of the skincares. This is for normal skin. It's called Skin Love.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm creating all of these products and having this out there, I'm not competing right now, but I
Mm-hmm.
do dance every week.
Anyway, what I wanted to, the other thing I had, she sent me some questions so that I wouldn't, because Jean and I could sit here and talk about all sorts of stuff, but like she said, I've been a mentor, and if you don't know what mentoring is, those are people who pay me for readings, but they pay me for really long readings, and they almost pay me to have me on uh, call so that they can get a hold of me whenever they need it. And you're, you were talking to me about aromatherapy, which I love. I love fragrances and I love all that stuff around me. Do you have candles in your line, or is it all
Not
apple?
yet. Candles are actually quite expensive to make, but I can recommend a good candle company called Brooklyn Candles to go to.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing. I can't sell them any cheaper than they do, and they do a beautiful job.
Yes. I just went through finding the candles for my 9 candles, and I found these really pretty roses. They're all different colors, but they're small. And I got enough of them because they only burn for 4 hours. So the day one from day one will be gone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, what attracted you most to aromatherapy, or was it just you were kind of told?
Well, I kind of was back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s. There was a place called Edge of the Woods, which is our hippie health food store in the
Yeah.
area in New Haven. And I used to go in there and do all my grocery shopping. And I would go upstairs where all the aromatherapy and all the supplements and body care products were. And I would look at the little vials and kind of wonder what the heck was in them and what do you do
Mm-hmm.
with them? And that's interesting, but what do you do? I knew patchouli smelled good, but what do you do with it? It wasn't until the 2015 ish that I was introduced by an MLM marketer, salesperson who's a friend of mine to her product line of essential oils. And I tried them out and I went to a lecture that she was giving about them and I brought them home, but I really didn't get into it. I didn't understand how to use them properly because essential oils are, if you think about it, one drop of rose essential oil is made from 10,000 petals
Mm-hmm.
of rose. you're talking about a lot of plant material.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit conservative about how much essential oil I use, because you think about how much you should put on your body. If one drop represents that many petals, how
Mm-hmm.
much should you use that's safe and healthy?
Right.
And so I ended up looking for a school.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2019, I found International, which is a internationally recognized aromatherapy school that was created by Andrea Bouget back in the 80s or 90s, starting in her own building somewhere in New York
Mm-hmm.
State. And then she went international, and she's like the first one of her kind in the United States. So she's got good bona fides across Europe as well, because Europe is where they actually have clinical aromatherapists that can
Mm-hmm.
prescribe. So I took the class and I started taking. I got hooked on the salves and the skincare and their potential for helping and healing. And at that time, I was also an energy healer. And I thought, oh my gosh, these are so pure, so wholesome, so healthy. What can I do with these things? And so
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting certified during COVID, because my energy healing practice, I just had opened it and had to close it because COVID came. Like the rest of us, we all locked
Mm-hmm.
down. And I got my certification as an aromatherapist. And that's my journey to aromatherapy.
Yeah, I've used essential oils. I have a friend who's she's a shaman and a nurse, and she taught me about comfrey oil, which
Oh,
if you
yeah.
never, comfrey is a beautiful plant. So it looks lovely in your garden. You bring the leaves in, you chop them up, you put them in some warm oil, put a little bit of vitamin E in there, strain the leaves out. And this thing fixes bruises like nothing you've ever seen in your life. And I had an awkward toddler who did things like fall over the handlebars of their little trike, and stuff.
Oh,
Was had one giant. The kid, I would have been turned over to CPS if it wasn't for comfrey oil. And I really, really, as a matter of fact, I used it one time. I fell when I was on a job. This is when I used to redo houses, and a bruise already showed up on the outside of my arm. And the woman said, "Oh, that looks like it's going to be painful." I said, "I'll go home and I'll get some comfrey oil on it. It'll be fine." Because it not only gets rid of the bruising, gets rid of the all the pain and all the swelling and all the other stuff that goes along with it. And comfrey was there are pictures of comfrey on ancient tombs in Egypt. And this woman saw how fast this bruise, and she'd seen me get it, and she thought it was going to be there till I finished her job. So she said, "What's that stuff? Where can I buy any?" So I brought her a bottle from my house. But I said, "You can make it." And she had a beautiful garden. And I did some more work for her a couple of years later, and she had the most gorgeous comfrey plant. It looks kind of like a giant lily of the valley with real
ooh.
fuzzy leaves and these long stalk flowers. It's a beautiful plant. That's my only trial into the wonderful world of doing that. But I really believe in it. I believe in at least what that plant does, and I believe you've researched it enough and working with the right people to know what you need to get. Um,
It's also important to know about dosage for things like that, because babies should not be receiving essential oils, for instance.
oh no.
No child under 5-year-olds. Comfrey is different. Comfrey is an herb that you made a tincture, an oil tincture
Mhm.
from, but and you used a measured amount. Essential oils are compressed material that has been crushed from a lot of plant materials. So you're getting a lot of
Mhm.
chemical components from the plant in that. And basically, what essential oils are liquid chemical components.
They're extracts.
They're
They're
yeah,
extracting the effective material
yeah,
from the plant.
distill it. They distill it. Yes. Hmm.
Mhm. Do you have a website, sweetie?
Yes, I do. And then you can see part of it. If you get rid of the gene it's evolvingspirit.com.
Okay, I'm going
And
to
you
put
look
it.
under the aromatherapy part if you're interested in my aromatherapy. There's a link at the top of the menu bar that says aromatherapy, and that'll take you to my store.
Good. Okay, that's going to go up. Okay, there you go. No,
Yeah.
no.
Whoops. We need another eye.
In spirit, okay. I
And they
can't
need to,
tell.
they
I
need
was
to
doing that
connect.
to you all day.
They need to connect.
Okay. Isn't it lovely that we can do all this so fast if you have
So
any sort of manual
impressive.
dexterity?
Making
Okay.
a banner that quickly is amazing.
Oh yeah. StreamYard's good for that. No. No, no, no. Show it. There it goes. Does that look right?
Yep. I would just move the .com a little closer, but if you
That I
guys
can't
just write
move the
it out.
.com. That's how it does it. It's got
Oh,
nothing.
okay. As long as you all write it all in one line, it's perfect.
Right. So let's see. Here's somebody else. I've been making cannabis rubs, and I
Oh, yes.
works wonders.
Yeah, I have my degree as a lab cannabis. I can work with CBD oils. I'm
Oh, cool.
certified to work with those as well. But I decided to leave that to people who are bigger companies than me. Let
Yeah,
me
that are
start with essential
selling it.
oils.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I can swear, Jean's good ladies. So somebody wants to know if aromatherapy, do you associate it with color vibrations?
Yes, you can. For instance, if you use well, it's a blue chamomile, but it's also called German chamomile. That's blue and that's good for the throat chakra, for
Mm-hmm.
instance. So yes, you can use it. There you can use. I didn't sit down and get that information for you all for today, but you can associate them with the chakras and what emotion you want to elicit. The frequencies that the angels picked for these particular products for the
Mm-hmm.
inhalers work to open those chakras, for instance. This has
Mm-hmm.
angelic oil in it, which is fabulously expensive. And that one is particularly beloved by angels, and it allows you to connect to your guardians and guides. So the frequencies and the color vibrations are all valid. Yes. Thank you,
Okay,
Linda.
I have another question from Sherry from Voices in the Swamp. Um, do you? She's been able. I think what she's looking for is something to help her with chronic pain. Do you have
That would
anything?
I do private consultations that you
Okay.
would have to sign up for a consultation with me, and then I would make a product with you. And it's not a difficult process. What I would need for you to do is fill out some forms to let me know what you're allergic to, what medications you're on, because there are contraindications for essential oils, some essential oils for some medications. So I kind of need to know um,
Mm-hmm.
some more in-depth information, but yes, I can do that. I have done that. I've worked with an MS patient, for instance.
Okay. I'm having to watch what they're saying. Oh, oil painters glad to catch this one because we're opening up new information. That's the object. That's what we want to be able to do is let people know what else is going on. So,
It's like the angels just are calling us all now to come forward,
mm-hmm,
because I was in a psychic closet for a long, long time and learned energy healing for 20 years. And I came forward just before COVID and haven't stopped since. Um,
mm-hmm,
and these are the things that they're asking for me to provide for people, and including mediumship now. I know that's not your thing, Nancy Jean, but for me, it's like a natural fit with the healing of the hearts and the
mm-hmm,
forgiveness that it helps between the two souls. Because I recently worked with a person who a spirit on the other side, their family member had issues and wanted to be forgiven, and she forgave
mm-hmm.
him. I could feel his energy lifting, and then he could let go.
That's right.
And her heart is healed. So that's why I do the healing kind of work that I do. And these products, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you about these. That's important. When I work with energy healing clients, I wanted to make something to bridge them between sessions, because emotionally things come up. Just like it's like therapy in a sense, but energy work will get things moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I recommend therapy with energy work for people who want to do it long term.
Mm-hmm.
But these inhalers can help bridge a person between their sessions on a spiritual level.
Right.
And I also do guided healing meditations that help people hear my voice, and I channel my healing into the meditation so that they're getting healed every day as well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the kind of things that Spirit is asking of me at this point.
Yeah, one things I used to have an anti-stress, and I have no idea what was in it. I'm a very trusting soul. I just rub the stuff on, and if I don't blow up, I figure I'm okay. And it was anti-stress, and it worked. And then I had
Rescue Remedy? Was it Rescue Remedy?
No, it was anti-stress, and it was off of Amazon long before COVID.
Okay.
I used to rub it on their wrists when they're really nuts. And say, here, you need some of this. This will come you down. And it worked.
Yeah, because your skin is like a sponge, and it goes into the capillaries, and then it brings it into your lungs and your heart, and then through your organs and your brain.
I have one that's a lavender that's for sleep, and I've had it for a long time, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like a little roll-on, and I keep thinking, this is like the stuff that never ends. I mean, I keep thinking, one day I'm going to roll it on. There's going to be nothing there. Works all the time. Really helps.
You're very sensitive too, so it's a good thing for you.
Yeah, and I don't think Addie let me put anything on my body that would brand me. So, I'm an energy healer who works with crystals. Do your therapies work with crystals? Do you combine?
Absolutely. I'm hypnicity. I'm learning the crystals. I make crystal prescription bracelets, but I don't have the time to make them anymore. I'll get on research in all the books that Nancy Jean told me to get, and research what the person needs. And I've created them for several people, and they're lovely. But I have only me. If I had another me to make the bracelets, I'd be making those too.
Yeah, bracelets are a lot. I've had people ask me, why don't I do those instead of grids? And I can tell you why, because it's a lot more time.
Yeah, so buy them from Nancy Jean. I need another grid, by the way.
Oh, I know.
I need another
grid. We talked about it. We'll get there. Anybody else who needs a grid, I've got one in the pipeline right now. And I'd love to attach people up. The other things I'm doing is currently I'm doing 6-month readings. So maybe I can tell you what's going on for you for the next 6 months. Then you get over and talk to Jean and say, what do you have that can help me get through this?
There you go. We can refer each other.
And I have a tarot class starting, I think, in a week. It won't be starting unless I get a few more people interested in taking the class. But everybody I've trained so far has really loved the class. I trained Jean. She knows about it.
Nancy Jean is the most dedicated teacher. I like teachers. I've been a professional student in a lot of ways for a long time. And I love teachers who provide in-depth paperwork that I can refer to afterwards. And Nancy Jean just gives you reams and reams of data that you can sit down and look at, and answers all your questions in class, and goes through that with, is this going to be with Ripe Color again, this class?
Yeah, with Jeffrey. Yeah.
And you get two really experienced readers' perspectives, and they share everything. They're very generous with their knowledge.
He doesn't read reverses, so all his cards are always right side up. I think that's like defying half the vocabulary of your deck if you don't read reverses. So, and I actually found an oracle deck this year that put reverses in it.
Is it Mary Greer who wrote the book about reverses?
There are several.
That's
There
a
are,
good book to have. I use that one in your class information, and if I'm really wanting to go deep, she did a whole book on that, and it's really, you can learn it.
oh yeah, it's not, well, the problem is most people who take my class, they've had a deck forever that they've never known what to do with. Well, it's sitting there with its siren call, come over here and I'll teach you what you need to do and
Yeah,
how to make a go of it, you know?
and I
And
recommend. Oh, sorry.
no, I feel like it's nothing. Hell, I taught my daughter to read when she was like 5 or 6. Of course, Ashira was reminding me today, she's 47 now, and I had her running phone banks when she was 7 years old. She was training the volunteers. She couldn't talk to the people because they kind of
For the
wonder.
politics, for your political action. Wow.
And she was
Cool.
talking to someone who'd gotten a phishing phone call. And Casey said, okay, this is what you need to do. And she knows exactly what you need to do because you know, when we did that, the phishing phone calls and all that stuff weren't out there yet. There weren't emails. I mean, she's 47, so there weren't emails then. And but she said, you know, there's a whole because this woman had gotten a weird call through the university system that my daughter works in, and she was very upset. She knew something was wrong about it, but she'd never faced the idea of getting a call that was going to track into her phone. And they have a phone system at the university that uses your own personal phone, but it doesn't give people that number. You have a
Oh,
number that's part of the university. And Casey said, oh, I've studied all this. And if you're on that system, they can't break into your phone, even if they get a hold of you. But Casey said, don't click anything anyone sends you. Someone sends you a link saying, do you need to know about this? Say, absolutely not. And don't call them back because they're just going to be some guy sitting in a basement somewhere trying to get your information so they can get themselves out of the basement. So,
yep. And they just want to take all your money and strip you dry.
yeah, I saw a lady
I get
who,
them all the time on my my Meta
Mhm.
email and Instagram. People always trying to tell me that there's something wrong with my. They're going to close down my site, and the first time it happened, it scared me. After that, I knew that it was phishing.
You're a veteran.
And now,
But
and
the
I
other
keep
part
writing
y'all don't know about running a business online is filtering out all that stuff. I'm about to let PayPal go because PayPal's gotten very notorious for not really helping you. And I had someone who sent me a bill, and it was a long drawn out mess, but I got it all stopped. But they wanted to put $380 against my PayPal account. Now, to some of you that you'd go, oh, chump change. Not here.
No.
$380 is a whole lot of inhalers, you know.
Yes, it is. It's when you have a small business, it's a lot of money.
Well, do y'all have any more questions for her? Because
Oh, and I recommend meditating with these too.
yes.
If you want to sit and learn grounding, you can do grounding meditations that I do teach, and sit and connect to the earth, to Gaia, and inhale this, and you're going to get reinforcement on that grounding, and you'll be able to experience it more and more as you become more energetically sensitive. You will feel the effects of it working. Because when I use guardian and guides, the first time I used it, it's like, whoa. There's only one cell in your nostril that separates you from your brain chemistry, just one cell. That's why inhalers are so effective for healing, and for this kind of work, for energy work. And it goes into the limbic brain system, and I had it, and the light inside my third eye was swirling and cleaning. It was just like absolute light cleansing. I was getting a good scrubbing in there. And then it moved down into my heart, which is the fourth, which is the bridge between your upper and lower chakras. And so it went from fourth third eye to my throat chakra, to my heart, and then up and out through my crown. And the light and the sensation of energy and opening was really strong. So I know they work and how they work.
Yes. And as you know, if you smell, that's why I can remember aromas from years ago that you haven't smelled since forever, but everything comes back because it's so tied in your brain. I had a friend who had a funny story about that. When I was in my 20s, I ran a volunteer group at public broadcasting. And one of the women who was one of my just best volunteers, her daughters were off in college. And this was in the early 70s. And her daughter came home and her mom opened her suitcase to clean her clothes. And she was just thrown back into her early childhood in the Texas Valley. And she realized she'd had terrible asthma and terrible breathing problems as a child. And this was before marijuana was outlawed, because this woman she'd be in her hundreds now. And so she was given, her mother would burn a tent of marijuana to help her with her breathing, to help it all relax.
They're anti-inflammatory. There's anti-inflammatory chemical components in.
And she said she was standing over her daughter's suitcase, completely back as a little toddler kid in the Rio Grande Valley. And I said, well, what's that tell you about what's going on? And she said, she didn't have any in the luggage, but she said there must be more than a bit of it around her at school. And so that'll happen. You'll smell a cigar. You'll smell something else that's from that era.
Yeah, I find CBD oils are excellent for migraines. There's a company called Charlotte's Web that created, I wouldn't call it essential oils. I'm not exactly sure because their percentage is so high in this particular plant. They created a plant to help children that have 60 seizures a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's little kids that have it, and it was named after this mother went around and begged for people to help to find some way to treat her child who had these seizures because regular medicine wasn't helping.
Mm-hmm.
And she found these guys out in Colorado, I think that's where they're located, and they created a plant. They bred a plant, and they called it Charlotte's Web. And it's very strong CBD oils, no THC in it. So no psychotropic highs or lows.
Yes.
Psychedelic. So she and the child went down from 60 a day to 4 a day.
Yeah. When you've got a child
with migraines, I figured if it was good for her, and it works for me for my migraines, to stop migraines.
Here's another question that showed up. Are there any great scent groupings for motivation energy? Thank you.
I do know that if you want to try working with rosemary oil, it will wake you up. It will motivate you. Peppermint oil is also good for motivation. And just for joy, a citrus oil like orange might be nice in that one. But you have to be careful with citrus oils because they're phototoxic. So you don't want to put it on your skin. Just don't ever put citrus oils on your skin. It will create really awful burns. But if you're just going to breathe it, if you're just, like, remember how they use lemons to make your hair blonde and bleach your hair blonde? Well, think of concentrated lemon oil on a skin patch, and it burns react to the sun. It's saying, okay, I'm going to reflect all it expands, and I guess the energy is expansive, kind of like Jupiter. So it's going to expand, and it's going to allow a lot of light to go through. And so don't put it on your skin. But orange, peppermint, and maybe rosemary, you could try different drops together to see if you like that particular scent profile. And you just sample it by putting 1 drop of each. Smell the first drop, smell it with the second drop mixed in, smell it with the third drop mixed in, and then just figure out to your taste which one you like the best to inhale.
Yeah. What I used to use, I had a grumpy first husband, probably because he was married to me, but he was a grumpy first husband. And when we were going to have something where I wanted the energy to be lighter in the house, I'd put orange peel in boiling water and I'd boil it on the stove. And it
Perfect.
would fill the whole house. And he was less grumpy.
That's perfect. See,
Mm-hmm. The things we learn.
old wives' tales are real.
That's true.
Lemon peels. That's very interesting.
And as Jean said, you can contact her through her email.
Jean@evolvingspirt.com with any questions, or if you have any comments or interests in the products. And my website, evolvingspirt.com. And I'd love to hear from you. And I'm here to help. My joy is to be of service at this point in life.
And I can tell you what's going to happen. The second I click the camera off, everybody's going to come up with 800. I should have asked about this, and I thought I'd heard about that.
If you're going to put this onto, I can answer them if it's on, you're going to put it on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, it all goes out on YouTube.
It's
going out on YouTube.
Post your questions to YouTube, and I'll look for it once Nancy Jean posts this.
And this is another Jen Miranda. Can you recommend a reputable school for certification?
Well, there's two. If you're interested in going for certification in essential oils, I would highly recommend the school I went to. It's Aromahead Institute or Aromahead International. I mean, I'm not, but it's the Aromahead Institute.
There can't be too many aroma heads.
Yeah, that's the only one. And then there are herbalist ones, and I tried to do herbalism, but I couldn't sample the herbs because I have too many allergies, so I had to give that up. But I know there's a good one, and if I can find out the name of it, I'll post it for you if you're interested in herbal medicine. Online lessons too.
Good. Well, I think Hypnicity, she answered that for depression. You talked about your migraines.
I would say lemon, and I would say a peppermint. There's I think Angel Hugs here, the one that I have, would be good for depression. I think I have lemon oil in that one. But yeah, I would recommend, for doing that, I would want to talk to you privately, Hypnicity, because that's more, there's different kinds of depression. And I'd need to understand what medications you were on. And I don't want to recommend anything that could contraindicate or exacerbate or what's the other word? I can't remember the technical word for making less than in medications, Nancy
Make
Jean.
you get twitchy.
Yeah. No, there's a word. I forget what it is right now. But there are essential oil inhalers that can be made for that, yes.
Yeah, my daughter takes some medicines that are big pharma, and they can trigger her big pharma to not work as well. So
that's right. That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful. You have to know you needed a certified aromatherapist to do that for you.
That's why they created schools that Jean went to. Well, thank y'all for being so patient with this. Oh, contraindications. Is that the word we were looking for?
Contraindications, yes, that's one of the words, but when it actually lessens the quality of the drug or it exacerbates the effects of the drug that you're taking. So I can't remember the one that when it lessens it, but you're close, Vicki. I can't remember the name.
Vicki has COVID, so she's, but I think she had all her shots and stuff. So we're wishing you well, girl. Well, thank you all for being here. And I want to thank Jean for coming over from Connecticut. And it's raining here today, so it's got something nice to have happen.
Here too, Nancy Jean, spring.
Oh, yeah, it's spring. Okay, we'll talk to y'all later. And I'll see you probably next on Monday or Tuesday. And except for Scott, so I'm doing my political thing with Scott. Take care. Oh, by the way, please do, if you're interested in the throw class, go to my website and let me know, because I need to get that together, or I need to move the date. And I think the date may be part of the problem, but we're looking at it. So we're
You guys
getting
want to take it. Sign up for her classes. I highly recommend them.
I don't teach much, when I teach, I'm there. Anyway,
doesn't?
talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.